Page 13, La Réjouissance or something. I don't speak French, but you can, whatever that is. Apparently it's a happy piece. 4/4 time, 2 sharps, so it's in D major or B minor. Well, let's look down at the bottom. You're ending here. D major, I'm guessing is D major. Right hand first, you have a pickup, 8th note. So we're coming in on the end of 4. 4 and 1 and 2 and. Watch this fingering, thumb. Second finger. Reach up. If you can't reach that, you'll have to lift up and move. That's fine. Rest. Rest. Get the idea? Third line down, it's 1, 1 and 2. Now, second finger here, past the after the repeat signs. That way you're in position. Then lift up. Don't forget the C sharp. Then 4th finger. Now we got tied notes. This is the next to the last line there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now if it's confusing you, if you're struggling with that, then take out the tie temporarily and play all the notes. It's here. And once you can get that, then put the tie in. You think playing the second note, you're just hanging on to the first one. 2, 1, 2, play. 2, play. 4th finger. Thumb at the bottom. Fifth finger there. That's a little tricky. You may have to go a lot slower than that to get it. And if you're struggling with the notes, then forget the rhythm. Just try and get the notes in the fingering first, and you can go back and add the rhythm. In the left hand, you're starting out with these chords. And then the last measure there, I recommend a 4th finger on the F sharp because that's actually the fingering for the chord, and that's what I would encourage you to do if your hands are big enough. Then you go back to this one. Second line, second measure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and. And again, 4th finger on the C sharp. The chord is that. And that's the fingering, that's why I use it. And the end of the third line, you got to come up here. Don't forget the C sharp. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 4th finger, you don't have to use 4th finger there. The 3rd finger's fine, just reach up. That's okay, you can do that. I do a 4-2-1 on these chords. This is the next to the last line, first measure. It's here, and then here. Last line, you're here, rest, rest, and then come up. Same thing. Try putting the hands together slowly. I have a habit on repeated notes of using different fingers. Not using the same finger all the time, and sometimes I do that. I don't want to confuse you. You're welcome to use the same finger if you want, but I tend to do a 1-2-1-2 alternating, or some finger alternating. It doesn't matter what it is. I just don't use the same finger on repeated notes typically. Now, make sure you play the rest in the left hand there. There, when you play that 8th note, the left hand comes up. Again, right there. That is just tricky rhythm-wise, it really is. So let's go on. After the repeat signs in the third line, you're here. This is the next to last line. There's some very tricky fingering, and the hands are doing totally different things. So you may spend some time one hand at a time until you're comfortable enough with it, knowing full well that when you add the other hand, it's going to be completely different. Then once you can get that at some speed, it can go a lot slower than what I just did. Go ahead and add the articulation they've got. The staccato. So the left hand. That's a tenuto on that. Hang on to that quarter note until slightly after you play that eighth note in the right hand, so it's got to go through the whole thing and add in these staccatos very carefully, because each hand has their own slurs and staccatos, so you have to be independent on that, on the hands. It's like in that first line, in the last two measures there, up here, you're here but not here, staccato but not. So watch out on those, they're all over. Then you can add the dynamics, maybe. These dynamics are suggestions. Handel didn't put in dynamics, but they say loud, and that's really mainly for the right hand. So that's loud, and you're staying. I mean, this is a happy piece. This is a, hey, here we are, let's party, I guess. As you get down to the third line, after the repeat signs, now it comes down to a moderately soft. You go up to moderately loud, just a little louder. Now you're loud. And now you're going to crescendo up to very loud at the bottom. Don't get very loud until right there. Put in a little retard on that. It was typical of that time period. You'd retard toward the end of it. Speed-wise, you can find numerous recordings of this. Listen or search for Handel's fireworks music, or the water music, or the royal music, royal fireworksy thing. He talks about it up above. Search for that, and you'll find recordings. And you'll find recordings of this, or, not this arrangement, but the actual thing. You get an idea of the atmosphere of the piece, because this is a rather fast-moving piece. However, I would like to play it with you slowly, just to make sure we got the notes in the rhythm. Not going to do the dynamics. I will try and do the articulation, the staccatos and all, but we're going to go super slow. And I am going to take all these repeats. You see the repeats in the third line? Well, there's one repeat that sends you back to the beginning, so you play all that again, and then you go on, and when you get to the bottom of the page, that repeat sign sends you back to the third line on the reverse repeat, and you play all that again. So the piece is actually twice as long as it looks. And yeah, I want to take all the repeats. So I'm going to give us 4 beats, 4.5 beats, 3.5 beats. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we come in on the end of 4. Yep, you'll figure it out. Yeah, okay. Very slowly. Again, I put the metronome on 8th notes. So it's going 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and so here we go. 1 and 2 and ready and go. Repeat.